Hey guys, welcome back for another episode. So now it's time to start talking about curriculum, and it's a big subject, obviously. So I'm going to break it up into two, possibly even three videos so that we can just take this in small chunks, and I will stick to my promised 5 minute chunk each. All right, so this is the big question that everybody's asking is how do I choose curriculum? What do I choose? It can be dicey. I will not lie to you. After so many years of homeschooling, I am still finding curriculum. I mean, that should be the process, right? Like, if you're going to do this long term, you're going to find things that work for you and things that don't work for you. You're going to weed those out, tailor it to your kids, and find something that works for you. And something that worked for my first two or three kids doesn't necessarily work for all of them. So I have brought in and fleshed out and flushed out several different curricula throughout our years. Very few of them have actually stuck around. And I'll get into kind of my favorite ones that actually have stuck around, but I want to back it up and be a little bit more general for you guys because I don't want to be too prescriptive about saying you should use this curriculum because it might not work at all for you, and I definitely don't want to, go around trying to shoebox you into fitting into a curriculum that doesn't work for you. So, but I can give you maybe some general guidelines in how to start narrowing like this gigantic field down into something that you can kind of start chewing on. So maybe the first thing is a couple videos ago we talked about are you doing this short term or long term? And that will affect your budget choices, right? So if you're going long term into schooling, maybe think about some of your curriculum choices can be spread out over several years, or they can be used for several different kids, or maybe they have a decent resale value, but you're going to be paying more for those, generally speaking. So if you're just doing for 1 year, maybe budgeting less for that is going to be more up your alley, and in those cases it does limit your choices somewhat. But I mean, I am a full believer that if you had $0 to spend on your school year, you could hack that from the internet and get a reasonably full-bodied education for a year with no dollars. But it would take a lot of footwork. Like you'd be doing all kinds of planning on that. So not most people do not want to do that. And so, yeah. So when you're considering your budget, think about how many grade levels you're needing to contend with, how many students, how long you're going to be doing it. And then just start dividing and conquering. Take the big subjects, the core subjects: math, language, history, reading, science, and find out what you're required to cover through your district. And then just start taking one at a time. Ask around. I'll tell you happily what I use, or at least what I'm using this year, which is not always the same as what I was using last year. But it's kind of a great way to just like kind of isolate what you're going after. So just take math, for instance. Do a Google search on math curricula and reviews. And there are 5 million homeschool moms that'll be happy to give you their reviews of their favorite or least favorite math programs. Again, I'll get into the specifics of that a little bit later about kind of what I use, just to give everybody an idea. After you've kind of started dividing that down to your subjects, then you can, you've maybe started to do some Google searches. Then you can start looking at direct websites to where to find your stuff. I order a lot through Amazon. You can get textbooks there, you can get used textbooks there, and you can even rent textbooks there. So that's great options. That'll cut your price down. For instance, I just bought a science book. The homeschool package was cheaper on another website, so I did that, but I needed an extra textbook because I'm doing 2 students. And so I managed to find one. I want to say the new one was something like probably $50 or $60. I found a used one that's kind of tattered on the edges and all that for about $6. So that's great. That really brought my science curriculum budget down a lot to buy that one used textbook. So one kid gets a brand new one has to use a used one. They'll survive. Yeah, so Amazon's a great place to go for that. Christianbook.com. I know not everybody out there is doing religious curriculum. That's fine. I just find it to be a pretty cheap place to um, find some curriculum choices. They're not all religious based, and so you can find a lot of stuff there. Sunlight with an O, Sun, SON light, is another one where you can buy packaged curricula, or you can piecemeal it too. It's a bit more expensive, but if you're looking for a packaged thing, that can be kind of a good place to go. Again, that one is pretty. You can buy individual curriculum there, but the packaged stuff is pretty religiously slanted. So just FYI. And then going to their direct websites. I like. I'm doing Holt Science this year, and so I went to the Holt website and started looking it up, and ultimately ended up buying it somewhere else. But that's just an example. So yeah, we're over time on this video, so I will cut that off, and then we will start talking into more specifics in the next video. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.